based on a true story. The events are set in Los Angeles in 1928. In the morning, Christine Collins wakes up her 9-year-old son Walter. They live only together. The mother brings her son to school and goes to work. Christine is a telephonist. Her entire workday goes by at a frantic pace. When Christine picked up her son from school, he asked why his father left them right after he was born. Christine told that the father was just afraid of the responsibility. In the evening, the mother promised her son that tomorrow they would go to the cinema together. However, in the morning she was asked to go to work. Christine didn't want to do it, because it was Saturday, but she had to agree. The trip to the cinema theater had to be postponed until tomorrow. Walter was very upset, but the mother promised to return soon. After working until 5 o'clock, Christine was about to go home. She was detained by her boss, Ben Harrison, who said he was very pleased with her work, though he had previously been dubious about the idea of hiring a woman as a dispatcher. Christine missed the streetcar and came home late. Walter was nowhere to be found. His lunch in the fridge was untouched. Concerned, Christine went outside to look for her son, but none of children saw him. Christine called the police. The police officer said they don't start searching for missing people until 24 hours have passed since they disappeared. She will have to wait until morning. Christine cried with helplessness. In the morning, a policeman did arrive. Soon Pastor Gustav Briegleb urged parishioners to help find Walter, who was missing. In the pastor's opinion, the corrupt Los Angeles authorities would do nothing to help. Chief Sheriff James Davis never does his job, thinking only of profit. Listening to the pastor on the radio, James was very unhappy. Several weeks have passed since Walter disappeared. Colleagues support Christine, who during breaks seeks help from special services that search for missing persons throughout the state. It's been 4 months. In Illinois, a man in a diner said he had allegedly forgotten his wallet. He left his son here as collateral, promising to return in 10 minutes. Evening came and he still hadn't returned. The employee of the diner called the police. The police came to Christine's work. Captain Jones gave the wonderful news that Walter was alive. He had been found with some tramp in Illinois. Christine cried tears of happiness, and the colleagues were very happy for her. Jones brought Christine to the train station. The place was full of reporters, because everyone loves a story with a happy ending. The train arrived. Christine ran to meet her son, but when she saw the boy, she knew it wasn't Walter. Jones began to assure Christine that she was just stressed, and that the child might have changed in 5 months. The boy confirmed that he was Walter Collins.
That's my mommy.
Christine denied it, because she could tell her own son from someone else's. Jones urged Christine to take the boy home with her, because he had nowhere else to go. The reporters asked many questions, and Christine didn't even know what to answer. She had no choice but to take the boy home. In the evening, Christine tried to show concern for the child, even though she knew it was not Walter. She was finally sure of this when she saw that the boy was circumcised. In addition, he was shorter than Walter. Christine told the boy to tell her who he was and what he was doing here, but he said nothing. The next day, Christine told Captain Jones, but he thought her fears were far-fetched. Perhaps she had measured the child's height incorrectly. Christine continued to insist that it was not her son. Jones was unwilling to listen to anything. In his opinion, Christine is simply deviating from her maternal duties. A doctor was sent to Christine's home, who came to sort everything out. The doctor attributed the fact that the boy was shorter than Walter to stress. Christine could not believe that the doctor kept convincing her that the boy is her son. She called Captain Jones and voiced her indignation. Christine doesn't understand why the police are wasting time instead of looking for Walter. When the boy called her mother, Christine broke the plate in hysterics and told him not to call her that, for he was not her son. Later, Christine, after calming down, apologized to the boy. He is just a child after all, and doesn't know what he's doing. Christine does not know why the boy claims to be Walter. In the morning, she received a call. It was Pastor Gustav Briegleb. He advised her to read this morning's paper and then come to him. In the newspaper, Kristen read an article about how she refuses to take care of her own son. The police department is supposedly worried about the safety of Walter, who has returned to an inadequate mother. The pastor explained that the reason the police did this was because they did not want to admit their mistake. Breedlove is not going to leave it just like that, because the police have a long history of lawlessness in Los Angeles. The police will do anything to embarrass Christine. But Breedlove is going to help her. The pediatric dentist examined the boy and said it wasn't Walter because he had a completely different bite. The doctor agreed to write a formal report. The schoolteacher, Mrs. Fox, said that it is not Walter, and besides, the boy did not remember her at all. Mrs. Fox is ready to produce written evidence and confirm it in court, if necessary. Breedlove recalled Christine that he is expecting her to appear on the radio today, and now she spoke to reporters, saying that because of a police error, the search for her real son had come to a halt. Upon hearing this, Jones was furious and ordered an aide to bring Christine here. Jones told Christine that she had set them all up. He continued to insist that Christine wanted to evade her maternal responsibilities or was simply insane, which meant she did not belong on the streets of Los Angeles. Jones called for a nurse and ordered that Christine be taken to a mental hospital. They put her in a car against her will and brought her to the hospital for forced treatment. Christine claimed that the police wanted to get back at her, but the staff thought the woman was crazy. She was washed with a hose and given a full examination, and then brought to the room. Christine asked permission to talk to the administration or call, but patients here have no rights. Her roommate kept repeating the same words, and it drove Christine crazy. Meanwhile, Detective Lester Ibarra asked the guy passing by for directions to the Northcotes Ranch. The detective was unaware that the guy in the back of the car had a gun. In addition, he was acting very nervous. Lester, searching for the teenager, arrived at the ranch. When he saw the policeman, the boy ran away and locked himself in the house. Lester had a warrant for Samford Clark's arrest, so he had the right to break down the door. The detective looked around the house. Suddenly the teenager attacked him, but Lester had no trouble neutralizing and arresting him. The fact is that the teenager is in the United States illegally and must be deported back to Canada. Breedlove is concerned that Christine did not show up for the radio broadcast. The pastor knew at once that something had happened to her. Meanwhile, Gordon, the guy from the road, arrived at the train station to buy a ticket. It was breakfast time at the hospital. Christine didn't want to eat anything. Another patient named Carol advised her to eat breakfast because she has to do everything to appear normal. It's the only chance she has of getting out of here. Carol confessed that she is also here because the police found her undesirable, and there are a lot of women like that here. Now to the public, they are crazy people who shouldn't be listened to. While waiting his turn at the police station, Samford is immersed in creepy memories. The teenager asked permission to talk to the policeman who brought him here. Christine was summoned by the attending physician, Jonathan Steele. Trying to act calmly, she explained that the police had found the wrong child and now refused to admit her mistake. The doctor asked the patient if she had long since begun to feel as if people around her were changing. In the doctor's opinion, Christine did not distinguish between her fantasies and reality. Lester agreed to talk to Samford. The teenager began to tell him about his cousin Gordon Northcote, who is the owner of the ranch. The cousin let him live on the ranch in return for help. Samford realized late that he had fallen into a trap. Gordon was forcing him to do terrible things. Lester didn't understand what was going on. He was shocked when Samford said they were hunting children and taking their lives. Samford didn't want to do it, but Gordon threatened him. According to the teenager, there were about 20 victims. 1 or 2 of them managed to escape. Samford recalls how he and Gordon were preparing for another crime and soon saw a boy on the road. Gordon lied to the child that his parents had been in an accident, and they need to go to the hospital immediately. Seeing the other child, the boy felt at ease and got into the car. At the ranch, they locked the victims in the henhouse. The end of each of them was terrible. In the present, Samford cried, for he meant no harm to anyone. The shocked detective showed Sam pictures of the missing boys and asked him to identify someone. After examining the pictures carefully, Sam put some of them in a separate pile. Among them was 9-year-old Walt Collins. After listening to Detective Lester, Captain Jones said the boy was making it all up. The policeman was visited by Breedlove and a crowd of protesters. Jones told Lester not to say anything to anyone and to bring Samford in. Breedlove demanded to know what they had done to Christine Collins. Hearing that she had been placed in a mental hospital, the pastor immediately understood what had happened. Christine refused to take her medication and claimed to be completely healthy. The attending physician demanded that she sign a document stating that the police had found her real son. Because Christine refused to do so, the medics took her away and forced her to take the medicine. Carol stood up for Christine and even hit Jonathan. As punishment, she was taken to the treatment room and subjected to electroconvulsive therapy. Later, Christine saw a semi-conscious Carol being taken out of the room. Without Jones' knowledge, Lester took Sam from the police station and told the two partners to go with him. Meanwhile, Christine visited Carol in her room. She is very grateful to her for stepping in for her. Carol wants Christine to be free and find her son. Lester and his partners returned to the ranch and began searching the territory. Then Lester told Sam to show where they buried the remains. Sam took the shovel and began digging. When the cops actually saw the remains, they were shocked. Lester ordered the entire county police force to get here. Sam cried, and Lester began to calm him down. 6 days passed. Since Christine still refused to take her medication, the doctor decided to try another method of treatment, electroconvulsive therapy. Fortunately, Breedlove arrived in time. He told the chief physician to read the article in the newspaper. Christine was released. Jonathan was holding a newspaper that read about the terrible find at the ranch. When Christine went outside and heard that Walter is probably not alive, she almost fainted. James Davis blamed Jones for everything that happened. The public is outraged because not only have the police not found Walter, but his mother has been committed to a mental hospital. Jones has to admit his mistake. Lester questioned the boy, who had been impersonating Walter all along. The boy confessed that he just wanted to visit Los Angeles. Breedlove supports Christine in everything. She is no longer afraid because she has nothing more to lose. Meanwhile, Gordon visited his sister and asked permission to stay for a few days. When the brother left for the bathroom, the couple called the police. Soon Gordon was promptly apprehended by the police. Breedlove introduces Christine to his friend Mr. Hahn, a lawyer. Since the police department intends to shift all the blame to the child and to Christine's inadequate behavior, she must sue. Mr. Hahn will argue her case in court. Breedlove, Hahn, and Christine returned to the mental hospital and brought an order requiring the administration to release all women who had been placed here by the police. Outside, Christine and Carol smiled at each other. Gordon was arrested. He smugly told reporters that he was not hiding from the police because the cops were not doing their job anyway. The brass told James Davis that people were demanding the resignation of most of the officers. Christine was surprised that people in town were gathering to demonstrate in her support. Among these people is Ben, Christine's boss. All are demanding fair justice. The courtroom was crowded. Since no one from the police department showed up for the hearing, the judge adjourned. Hahn immediately took Christine to another courtroom, where there was an exceptionally small circle of people. This was done to avoid unnecessary chaos. Gordon was led into the courtroom. He immediately recognized Christine, whose picture he had seen in the newspaper, and called her brave. Gordon refuses to admit his guilt. Captain Jones soon testified. According to him, Christine was behaving inadequately, which is why the police did not believe her words that the boy was not her son. All the people in the courtroom thought Jones' excuses were ridiculous. The boy posing as Walter was identified. It turned out that his name is Arthur Hutchins and his family lives in Iowa. Arthur's real mother came to take her son home. The hearings dragged on for many days. All the witnesses were interviewed. Breedlove came to visit Christine, who still does not give up hope. After all, it's impossible to say for sure what happened to Walter. Perhaps Samford was wrong. Christina will never lose hope. The court ordered that Captain Jones be discharged from the service. The procedures for placing citizens in mental institutions will also be changed. The jury too was ready to reach a verdict. Gordon was unanimously found guilty. Police Chief James Davis was also sent to retirement. Gordon was given the last word before the verdict was read. He stated that the only person he respected is Christine. As a result, he was sentenced to capital punishment. The sentence will be carried out in 2 years. Soon Christine returned to work. During her breaks, she continued to make calls to various missing persons organizations. Han came to Christine. He stated that Gordon had expressed a desire to talk to her before his execution. Perhaps he would finally tell the truth. Without hesitation, she set off. It cost Han a great deal of trouble to arrange this meeting. They were given 20 minutes. Christine was ready to hear the truth. Gordon didn't expect her to actually come, so he refused to talk. Christine wasn't going to leave here without an answer, but Gordon continued to mock her feelings. He never told her if Walter was alive. The next morning the sentence was to be carried out. Christine was present. Gordon was very frightened and begged someone to pray for his soul. The sentence was carried out. 5 years had passed. Christine's life was back on track. Colleagues at work supported her, as did Ben, with whom they had arranged to have dinner together. Later Christine received a call from another mother whose son had been reported missing. She reported that the police had found a child who matched the description. Christine came immediately to the police station. They listened to the conversation between the boy and the policeman. David told how he and 5 other children had been locked in the chicken coop. Walter was among them. The boys managed to escape and scattered, Gordon chasing them. David does not know if Walter escaped. All these years David wandered and hid because he was afraid Gordon would find him. Then David was taken in by a kind woman. Christine saw the happy reunion of the son with his parents. Lester was surprised that Christine had no intention of abandoning her quest, for now she had something she had almost lost: hope. Next, we are told about the real heroes of this story. Christine Collins did not stop looking for her